Totally Connected and Utterly Alone by Robert Brown. Miley Cyrus was once idolized by young children. She was the iconic centerpiece in America, bursting onto the scene as Disney's Hannah Montana, trying to live the life of a star, but also fit in as a teenager. She had the best of both worlds. Miley had the relatability that teens needed, yet she also embodied the stardom that kids dreamed about. And she had it all wrapped up into one TV show. After achieving rock star status among the kids, she moved on to acting and pop music. With that move, her following expanded. College students started partying to songs like Party in the USA, and middle-aged women were inspired by the struggle and journey in the climb. Her catchy tunes blended perfectly with her innocent charisma. People loved this girl because they could dream to one day be this girl. People loved this girl because she was a girl worth dreaming to be. Then, on August 25th, 2013, she performed at the MTV Music Awards in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Everything she had built up until this point was pure, and at least as pure and innocent as a pop star can be. Her purity and innocence came crashing down as millions of people were forced to watch the twerk seen around the world. For weeks, that was all the media could talk about. Miley this, Miley that. Everyone had to voice their opinion on whether it was appropriate or not. Everyone had to voice their opinion on whether they thought it was good or not. Everyone tuned in to the Miley Cyrus saga, and they tuned out the rest of the world. Well, you maybe might say, I didn't tune out the rest of the world. I've heard that from multiple people, but really? If that was the case, I'm sure you caught in that same week where North Korea's communist dictator Kim Jong-un executed a dozen members of the Ohasa Orchestra, an immensely international popular westernized band that included Jong-un's former girlfriend and singer, Hayoung Song-won. The delirious dictator executed these 12 pop stars as their relatives and musicians from 3 other pop bands were forced to watch. Following the firing squad, all the onlookers were sent to concentration camps. Now you tell me, as a society, as a media, as a country, as an individual, were we focused on the right tragedy on August 26th, on August 27th, and August 28th? Did you see any media post coverage of the death of these 12 individual pop star singers? To credit Entertainment Tonight, they did run a ticker on the bottom of the screen the day after it happened. Didn't catch that ticker? Not surprising. Which is why Rick Robertson in 2013 claims the public's obsession with Miley Cyrus's twerking instead of Hayoung Song-won's assassination may say more about us than it does about the teen idol. In a world filled with societal problems and controversial issues, I'm a big proponent in the theory that everything stems from the individual, and on the individual level. We as humans have the power to accept or reject any information that we come in contact with on a day-to-day basis. Every day we accept and reject information to form our worldview and come up with a belief system about the society and the world we live in. What we choose to accept and what we choose to reject forms up the inner core and the belief system of our identity. Now, the area into which we cement our identity as a person is the driving force behind everything we do, think, act, and say. In some way, what we identify ourselves with and who we identify ourselves with creates who we are. Now, the media plays a large part in this identity formation. In that media sources, whether it be newspapers, magazines, books, television, or even internet in this day and age, it provides us with most of the information that we accept on a day-to-day basis. M.T. Anderson wrote a novel in 2002 that directly addresses the connection between our individual identity and the media. His novel incorporates the idea of feed, which is a chip that is implanted in your brain at birth so you can have unlimited internet access at all times. It is connected to your memories, your emotions, your movements, and your thoughts. It is a direct parallel to the real world in which we live in. We have a direct dependence on technology in our everyday lives, just like they do in feed. With society's reliance on laptops and smartphones and social media, YouTube, and email, it is not hard to see where most of our information comes from. Therefore, our identity, much like it is in Feed for Titus and Violet, the main characters, is a direct product of what we accept and reject from the internet and technology every day. The most alarming aspect of Feed surrounds the idea that the feed is controlled by a few select corporations. When individual identity is controlled by a broad general unit such as the internet in modern day today, we become more and more alike and less unique. This is a problem. M.T. Anderson describes his futuristic society in a few words that can actually be applied directly to our society today. He says it's like a spiral. They keep making everything more and more basic so it will appeal to everyone. And gradually everyone gets used to everything being basic, so we get less and less varied as people. As we become more and more reliant on media such as the internet, we become more and more disconnected from our individual identity. So what does Miley's twerk scene around the world tell us about ourselves? It further cements the reality that we are becoming increasingly disconnected from our identity as a person due to the fundamental distraction of the media. 200, 100, even 50 years ago, the nation whose identity was founded on the ideals of freedom would have been outraged about the massacre of 11 innocent singers. But the fact that we are more concerned with the dancing antics of a 20-year-old pop star singer than a massacre proves the extreme disconnection we have as a country with our once solid ideals surrounding freedom and the protection of certain unalienable rights. If our country's identity is faltering, then I don't even want to know how bad it is on an individual level. I'll leave you with this. Only you have the power to control what information you accept and what information you reject. Do not let the media control you. Do not let your identity get swept away in the ideals that the media feeds you. Do not go to the moon to have fun, and in the end, allow the moon to completely suck.